411, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the studio. My name is Pat, and this is the 411 podcast. To my right is my buddy Michael Quattromani.
Pleasure to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our good friend William Casey, the new member of the 411 podcast.
Wow.
Will, how you doing, man?
Happy to be here.
Hell
Happy
yeah!
to be here.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So, Will, we actually have known each other for a very long time. We all went to elementary school together. These two go to East Greenwich, and as you know, I go to LaSalle. We're very happy to be back together. We're ready. Gentlemen, how we doing?
I mean, come on.
Come on!
I mean, we got a new member. We got a great kid.
We're doing
in the
great.
podcast. Come on.
No complaints.
Come on. No complaints at
Will,
all.
a little bit more. How are things?
No better way to top off a day of social distance learning.
Yeah, you know what? That's all you can say about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking football. We're back, and week one is just finished. We're going to start it off. A little analysis on Dolphins versus Patriots. It was an interesting game, and I think there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this offense. Week two, a little bit more of a challenge. We're back.
A lot
A
more
lot,
of a
a
challenge.
lot more of a challenge. We got Patriots, Seahawks. Then we're going to get into a little fantasy. We're going to be talking fantasy shockers. So we're going to take some guys that either overperformed or underperformed and say if we think that they're either going to continue this play or really take a dip. And we're going to finish it off with Tom Brady and how he performed.
His debut in a Buccaneers
uniform and how we think he performed. So we're going to start it off. Patriots, Dolphins, and I think Mike's got a little something for us.
Yeah, so
Start it
I
off.
just want to give some quick thoughts about last game. Our predictions were correct. Pat and I's predictions, we thought that they were going to run a very run-heavy offense, and they did. They almost 70% of their plays were run plays.
Start off a little bit slow, pick it a little bit more up in the second half.
Exactly. They
You
ran
know?
the ball 42 times, which actually led the league in week one.
That's
Which you'd think, the 49ers, Ravens, no. Patriots,
How many of those rushes were Cam Newton?
15.
A lot.
15,
Yeah.
15 those
Alright.
42.
ridiculous.
Absolutely nuts. But even last year, the Patriots ran the ball a good amount. They actually finished 9th in the league in overall rushes last year. The only problem is that translated into a measly 3.8 yards per carry, which was 7th worst in the NFL. The difference between last year to this year is they are running the ball effectively. They averaged 5.2 yards per carry last week, which was 4th highest in the NFL, and they had the most rushing first downs in week one with 18. Now, obviously, it is Miami, and it is one game,
And I think
it is a sample size.
And I think sample size is the best we can put it. Ladies and gentlemen, I keep saying that today. Ladies and gentlemen, everything we're about to say about this game, take with a grain of salt. Because
It's Miami.
It's the Miami Dolphins.
It's Miami.
I'm just
And
going to
honestly,
put that out
I
there.
think that some people would argue that they didn't beat Miami by enough. And I can't sit here and be like, oh, no, you're wrong,
Right.
because you're
I
not
think we should have
entirely
beaten
wrong.
them by a little bit more.
A win's a win.
Win's a win.
Yeah.
That's very
Start
true.
off 0-1.
Right. One of the things I want to say, Cam Newton racking up 2 rushing touchdowns. Not just like 15 rush ball 15 times, 2 rushing touchdowns.
I do have a little bit to say about that.
Yeah.
So, he did rush for 2 touchdowns. That's electric, exciting, say whatever you want. But it's also concerning.
I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
It's a little concerning.
It's
he
concerning?
only had
Just-
what was it, like about 150 passing yards?
Just injury-wise?
No passing.
Like,
no,
you
not,
think he's-
okay.
I
Not
say
injury-wise.
injury-wise. The whole reason I agree with you is because of the injury. They didn't run plays that, they ran plays that set him up to get hit. He got hit a lot in that game. And
All
both
right,
of his
but
rushing
he's
touchdowns
6'6",
ended up in big
250
hits.
pounds.
Yeah, but he has a long
I'm
injury
less
history.
worried about him than like Lamar Jackson. My concern with the 2 rushing touchdowns is that he didn't throw much.
Yeah,
I know they're
150
going to be a more run-heavy team this year,
And this is the thing I think,
as opposed to previous years where they've
this
been.
is the thing I think every Patriots fan needs to realize. It's good, and it kind of sucks to hear. It's gonna be a little bit of a less entertaining team to watch this year. You're gonna
Yeah,
see a
I
lot.
think-
look,
look,
Cam Newton
Cam
in
Newton
itself
is going to be-
is a
yeah,
freak
exactly.
of nature. He's a very
Super
outside of that, he's a superstar. But outside of that, it's gonna be a lot of running the ball.
He's
Yeah.
he's got no targets down the field.
And here's
Exactly.
the interesting part: the running was spread. He
Yeah.
spread out the ball.
James White, Rex Burkhead, and Sonny Michel all had
J.J.
19 snaps.
Taylor.
Yeah, J.J.
Very
Taylor,
interesting.
probably the greatest rookie on the field for the Patriots.
Stats up right here. James White 22, Edelman 20, or Edelman not running the ball, but Edelman 23, Taylor
These are all
28.
rushing yards.
Right. Burkhead 32, Sonny Michel 37. That's spreading. He's
Yeah.
spreading it out.
And I think I said it right after the game. I said, we're not going to see the Patriots have any 100-yard receivers. We're not going to see them have any 100-yard rushers, with the exception of maybe Cam
Edelman
Newton.
had 7 catches with 57 yards.
Yeah, and I think
I think
Harry wasn't too far behind him. I
And
think he
I
had
think-
in the 50s of receiving
I
yards.
think that's the kind of area we're going to be seeing.
We're not going. Yeah, I mean,
with
look,
these
if you look at Baltimore, they don't have anyone that's going crazy into
Hollywood
the 100
Brown did
yards.
pretty good this week.
He did. Yeah, last week he had I think 101 receiving
Yep.
yards on the dot. But look, I don't think we're going to see a lot of big numbers put up by the Patriots. But let's be real for a
Yeah.
second. Have we
I agree
ever
with that
seen
100%.
any big numbers
Right.
by the Patriots?
We've never seen freak of nature like 40, like 50, like ridiculous.
Patriots
amount.
have always been a come-from-behind team. That's the Patriot way.
That's very
That's
true.
the Bill Belichick way.
I like
And,
that.
and the only problem is, and I think more to Will's point, is we didn't see him throw the ball. And what do you have to do if you're behind? You
Throw
have
the
to
ball.
throw the
And
ball.
that's a fantastic
And against
point.
Miami,
Especially in late game situations.
Exactly,
You
and
can't rely
against
on
Miami,
those short rushing touchdowns from
were
Cam.
we behind in Miami? No, we
I
were
don't
never
think we were.
behind.
And let's be real, we're probably going to be behind a
Yep,
little
that's
bit
just
in
right.
next
Seattle,
week.
you got in the next 6 weeks. You got Seattle, you got the Niners, and you have the Chiefs.
But you know what? To kind of dispute what you're saying, there were a lot of nice little throws, play action. 80% of the passes were play action this week. I saw some great passes. Some not Tom Brady-esque passes. They
some
were
high praise.
They were Patriot passes, and I think this is something we need to realize. Some of this team is Newton, and some of this team is the Patriots. And the Patriot, like we know the Patriots. Play action, throw it to a guy like Izzo down the field, that's the Patriot way. Going for a draw play on 3rd and 6, that's a Cam play.
A quarterback draw play. I could definitely
Right.
see them doing a running back
quarterback
draw to
draw
James
play.
White, which
Right.
So
pisses me
you want
off more
Sony
than
Michel
anything.
on that draw?
Yeah.
Right.
But
a
yeah,
quarterback
a quarterback
Cam
draw
Newton,
play in
that's-
the red zone.
That's a Cam Newton play, not
That's
a
Cam Newton
Patriot play.
And but right after I was watching the game of Pat, I said I don't like that play call, and I still don't. Even hindsight's 2020, I still don't like that play call because.
But
the
how do you
chances-
not like it? It worked.
Because first of all, you're putting him in risk of getting injured,
Yes.
which you have to
All right.
treat him delicately. You have to. He
No,
has
no.
2 foot injuries, 2 shoulder injuries. He hasn't played in 2 years.
You can't pamper him though.
He's a
You have to.
no. He's a tank. I disagree. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not skinny. He's not going to break his bones. He can take a hit.
Yeah, but I don't think he can take that big of a hit. I'll put it this way. I don't think that Cam Newton is going to complete a season if he's carrying it 15 times a game like we saw
I
on
can't
Sunday.
disagree with that.
Okay.
If he's
Okay.
carrying it 15 times a game, which is what he did, he led all Patriots in that regard, he's not going to finish the season. We're going to see Brian Hoyer or Jarrett Stidham.
One of the other interesting things, and the best way I can put it, and just kind of simply, it's going to be a bit of a melting pot this year. It's going to be a mix of what Josh McDaniels wants to do and a
Yep.
mix of kind of what
It's still a very big work in progress. It's a chemistry thing kind of. Cam's new,
Right.
A lot of new things.
And you know what?
It's just Edelman. Edelman's the old guy on the team now.
Me and Michael have said this. It's gonna take a little bit. We're not gonna come slinging week 1, and we did it. We saw this coming. We were gonna win. It's the Dolphins.
I had my prediction on a 1-score game. I didn't think this was going to be a blowout like some people were predicting.
I
because it's
predicted
not.
20-7.
But I like
which I think was-
bringing up Josh McDaniels because I have a little interesting tidbit. When he was the coach of the Broncos, he
With-
drafted Tim Tebow.
I was just about to say Tim Tebow.
He drafted Tim Tebow.
Right.
He wants a mobile quarterback. I mean, McDaniels wants to be able to have a guy that he can run, RPOs with and do, quarterback draws. I mean, this is what he wants
This is like
to
his
do.
bread and butter. This
Yeah.
is something that he's like. It's like a kid waking up on
So,
Christmas.
so I don't
getting
think that Josh McDaniels was, in his basement just thinking of plays at 3 in the morning that he can
Probably got some
draw up.
stuff-
He probably has some that he's
some stuff
been
set up.
thinking of using in the past.
And the other thing, just on this team, some question marks. Obviously, kicking was a little bit of a problem.
Nick
Folk
Folk's a big issue.
missed a
Big
kick.
issue.
They picked him up the day before the game.
They moved him up from practice squad.
Practice
Yeah.
squad.
Practice squad.
Like, that makes me a little nervous.
There was talk about them not having a kicker at all and just
Right.
going for 2 every time.
Right.
Which actually would have been kind of fun with.
Would've been-
That would have
would've
been,
been
fun,
kinda cool.
Fun, but I don't like to see that type
Oh
of
yeah,
risk
no,
on
I
the
don't
Patriots.
either.
Right. But just to kind of wrap up on this Dolphins game, it was good for now. against the Dolphins.
Not
It
to
was-
mention, not to mention, very excited about football back.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
Could
yeah.
not be
I
more
mean,
ecstatic.
we were too excited to get into Patriots Dolphins, but guys, like, football's back.
Football's back.
Like, week 1 just happened. I already started out my season 0-1 in fantasy.
Ah,
I mean,
I beat 'em.
what else?
I beat
What
'em.
else could you ask for, right?
Ah,
Yeah, got
nothing.
blown out a little bit.
Yeah, so boys, I think we got to transition to a little Patriots Seahawks. Let's talk
Yeah.
new relevant news. Mike, start us off, my friend.
Just to give a little background, Patriots are Oh my God, Patriots are not favored. Seahawks are favored by 4 after they beat the Falcons last week to
Right.
go to 1-0. They beat the Falcons
Crazy high-scoring
38-25.
game.
Yeah,
Crazy.
38-25. Russell Wilson is coming off of a game where he completed 31 of 35 passes.
Wow.
That's
scary.
nuts.
That's scary.
The Seahawks. Here's the thing.
I mean, they got some new guy in DK Metcalf. He's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's going to be a superstar down the road. He's going to be a fantastic receiver. I think they have a great wide receiver tandem growing in the making.
Tyler Lockett, the little guy, he's a deep
Yeah.
threat issue. Like,
I think he caught like 8 of 9 targets. I mean, he's an efficient guy. He has obviously a good chemistry with
And
Wilson.
thinking about this game with a pretty solid defense, it's kind of a cool thing. This is only the second time since 2016 where the Patriots have been an underdog in the
Yeah,
regular
that's weird.
season.
That's weird.
We're
it's
underdogs.
a dynasty.
It's
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And now we're in this weird
Wait,
position.
2016. Who were they underdogs to?
No, it was just the stat. I have
Didn't
no
they
idea.
win the Super Bowl that? Oh no, the year before.
They were underdogs to somebody during the regular season.
That is crazy.
unreal.
But here's one thing that kind of I'm not really sure how to feel about it. The Seahawks ran the ball the 3rd most times in the NFL last year. Last week they ran it 13 times. That's not a lot
Not
at all. Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde obviously are the 2 running backs there, and both of them are
Chris
you know,
Carson
Chris
caught
Carson,
two
Chris Carson,
touchdowns.
Chris Carson did have a fantastic
He
game.
caught
though.
2 touchdowns.
caught 2 touchdowns.
A
Didn't rush
great-
for anything.
Yep.
So look, I mean the Patriots obviously their pass defense is top of the NFL. Their secondary
Yes,
is.
okay. That's the back to Patriots Dolphins. I feel safe with our Patriots defense still.
Yeah.
Still.
Gilmore's
yeah.
still playing at a high level, coming off defensive player
Jordan
of the
Howard
year
did like
season.
8 carries for 7 yards.
Right.
I mean, he didn't have a good game at all. On an unrelated note,
I can't.
Saquon Barkley.
I was definitely worried about our linebackers, but
They
I
did-
can't say that. I
yeah.
can't say they performed
They
the
did
worst.
fine.
Saquon Barkley, 15 carries for 6 yards last
Yeah,
night.
That's
Yikes.
gross.
Just a little. Just want to put that out there.
That's
that was,
yeah.
that was kind of crazy.
Gross. Don't
But
want
yeah,
Yeah.
once again, just back to the Seahawks. I think you have an offense who knows who they are. I think you have an offense who is put together. I think the Patriots are still trying to figure themselves out. You have an offense who kicked ass this week, or I guess last week, a quarterback who threw 4 touchdowns. I'm going to have like an early prediction. I know you guys are going to get into it. I don't see how the Patriots can win this game. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm not gonna argue with you on that one.
I can't.
For the first time, I mean, we're doing predictions a little early, but for the first time in my career as a podcaster, I don't have the Patriots winning this one.
I can't. And that doesn't, and everybody watching, that's not to say that the Patriots aren't going to do good this year against like other teams or even good teams. It's just that it's week 2.
And the Seahawks.
I will say
If
though,
this was in week like 12, 13, 14, I'd reconsider.
this is
depending on how the Pats are
again,
doing.
this is based off of like what I've seen. Like,
Right.
I don't know if
The
Cam
Patriots could
Newton
very well win this game.
Cam Newton could come out and put up 300 passing yards. Look, and if he does that, I'm pretty sure they would win this game.
Right.
I think it's a good matchup for the Patriots though. They have a great secondary. The Seahawks have great receivers that can shut them down.
Right.
Seahawks obviously, Pete Carroll said that he wants to use running backs more, but you know if they aren't able
How
to
realistic is that?
I don't know.
You
I mean,
know what
if
I
the
mean?
Patriots aren't able to use Hyde and Carson again this week, well, the Patriots' run defense, which
Yeah,
is
you're
in question,
You're using Carson, but you're
isn't-
throwing it to him every
exactly
time.
isn't that much of a worry apparently.
Right.
I don't. The Seahawks, they're not the Legion of Boom anymore. They don't have a
No,
very good
definitely not.
defense. They were bottom 10.
Right.
So, I think the Patriots in that regard, they have a good matchup.
My final prediction for the game is going to be 30-24 Seahawks. They're going to keep it close. It's going to keep it interesting. But I think at the very last couple minutes, I think the Seahawks pull on.
I have a very similar prediction. I have 31-24 Seahawks winning it.
Well,
I disagree. Going
Ooh.
with 35-10.
oh,
Seahawks are running away.
Wow.
Running away this week.
All right, well, I got to hear the thought process here.
yeah. Talk to me.
I can't see Russell Wilson slowing down at all. I'm saying DK Metcalf.
You don't think
Tyler
against
Lockett,
this
2 touchdowns
defense?
each. No.
This is one of the best secondaries in the league. J.C. Jackson, Stephon Gilmore. Look, Dolphins, but against the Dolphins, the linebackers stay down.
I hear you, but I'm still worried about the offense. I can't see a high production. They scored 24 against the Dolphins.
21.
21.
21 to 11.
Should have probably scored more against the Dolphins.
Yeah, N'Keal Harry had that fumble in the
Oh.
end zone.
And you know what?
That could have easily been 28.
That Julian Edelman drop.
Yeah.
We
I think it
keep
was like third or
seeing
fourth play of the game.
Edelman drops. I'm a little concerned about it. I don't know about you guys.
He's 36. this
Getting
year.
old, you know.
He's 36? Is he really? I thought it was like 34.
He's getting older, you know. He's that type of guy.
He's 34 right
34.
now.
I am a little concerned about his sharpness. You know what I mean?
So N'Keal Harry can be a good receiver. That's all I'm going to
I'm
say.
confident in Harry. I really am. So, final score prediction, what was it?
35-10.
35-10. I got 30-24.
31-24.
Those are the predictions. All right, guys. So, little switch of topics. We're going to be talking fantasy shockers. So, as I said in the beginning of the episode, we're going to take some players that we have listed, some players that have really have just crazy performed week one, and then some guys,
haven't.
and then some guys that haven't.
Yeah.
So, Will, we're to start it off with you. List some guys that you think are either going to go up or down, and we're gonna see. We're gonna talk about it.
All right, my number one fantasy guy this year, fantasy surprise, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Look at him being. I just can't even believe. I had no faith in him for this year. They drafted a new quarterback to try and replace him. He's saying, I still got it. Over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, loving Rodgers.
So-
40 fantasy points in week one.
So we're going to be doing this with arrows. So the up arrow means we think this person is going to continue in the direction that he did week one, and the down arrow says even if it was good, it's going to go down. Like he's not. He's
Or
not
even
gonna
if it's bad, it's probably
it's
going
going to continue to be. Or it's going to go up. Right.
Yeah.
I got up.
I also got up. I got high hopes for
I got down.
high hopes.
He's got
for
down.
Rodgers
I
this
got
year.
down.
Talk
I
to
don't
us.
look. I think Aaron Rodgers in his heyday was like first quarterback off the board. Aaron Rodgers, like he was the first one off the board in
Yeah, of
almost
course,
every
yeah.
draft. I don't think that he can keep it up. I think it's more of a gut feeling for me more than anything else. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that
Hey, I don't like Aaron Rodgers either.
because
I
I'm
think
gonna
he's
ask
an
you a
ass.
question: Can Devontae Adams keep that up? Can he keep up 43 points per game?
And we'll get into that.
No, well, he can't keep up 42 points per game, but he can definitely keep performing at a high
Right,
level.
and that's the other
He
thing.
can,
we all
but
need to
I
realize.
I don't think that Devontae Adams' output is enough to make Aaron Rodgers a fantasy viable option for quarterback. I don't think that he has enough weapons. I think that Aaron Jones is going to regress. I'm just not a big believer in Aaron Rodgers. His schedule is going to get harder. Minnesota's defense got worse over the offseason. I think he just exploited it. Week one, new jitters for rookies. I don't know what.
No,
the
I
case
feel like
may
the
be.
Packers are underrated each year, though, and
They're-
they
always.
always have a season like this.
I think they're overrated this year. I don't think
No,
they're going to be very good.
they're always underrated.
Always
I'm
underrated.
saying
I'm with them.
I'm saying they're going maybe 10-2 this year. No,
10
10
and
4. 10 and 4.
10 and 4. That's still wrong.
12 and 4?
Yeah.
12 and 4.
10-6.
12 and 4.
12 and
All
4.
right,
12
wow,
and 4.
4.
That's yeah. I think that's still pretty. I think that's. I would have said 10 and 6.
Yeah, 10-6 is my prediction.
I would have said 10 and 6. Dude, I still think Rodgers. He still has it. And you know what? They lit a fire under his ass by drafting
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. I think that put a fire under anybody's ass.
This was a statement game saying I still got it.
It was.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm with him. I completely agree.
All right,
Talk to us.
whatever. Look, I don't know. Honestly, I have really nothing to back it up with. I don't look very credible right now, but it's just more of a gut feeling for me. It's a mix between gut and just not
And
like
you
Aaron
hating it.
Rodgers.
I hate him too.
Yeah.
Dude. Trust me. Will, second guy, talk to us.
Number 2, I got Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley. So how many points did Ridley put up this week? He did pretty well.
He caught 9 of his 12 targets.
Yep.
Put up 130 yards on 2 touchdowns, and I believe he put up a bonus as well.
All right. I got
Put
mine.
up, I believe 31 this week.
I got mine.
I have yes.
Is that a sideways arrow?
It's a sideways up arrow. It's kind of like
It's on an angle. It's a slant.
he's going to. It's kind of contingent upon a few things.
Okay.
I don't like loaded offenses in fantasy. I don't like the Browns offense. Odell, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt.
Okay,
Oh,
Odell's not as good. As
Right, I was
No, I know,
say,
but I'm saying
loaded offense.
It's another,
There are a lot
Personification.
of guys to dish it to. I
You
see
know,
what you're
so
saying.
like even like the Cowboys. I mean, Amari. I could go on and on, but
Mark Cooper, C.D. Lamb, Elliott,
the
right.
Falcons this year, you have Julio Jones,
Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, put up 100 yards.
It's very, very good.
Russell Gage, Hayden Hurst, tight end who they brought in, and Todd Gurley. There are a lot of guys in this offense. I think that Calvin Ridley is a phenomenal wide receiver, and I fully support that he is going to be a breakout receiver this year. I think he's going to continue to be a good wide receiver in fantasy, like a wide receiver 2 flex option.
Not as good as
I would say he's gonna at the end of the year he's gonna average around like 17, 18.
What more can you ask?
Well,
17,
I
18
look, he put up
points.
34.
All right, you know what? Maybe not a down arrow. I'm gonna go with
A sideways
a
arrow.
sideways.
A
down.
sideways arrow. I didn't know we'd be this specific with arrows. Okay. Look, this guy was like, unequivocally the biggest fantasy sleeper this year.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking, is he?
I don't know about biggest fantasy sleeper. I think biggest fantasy breakout. Like this guy was going to be.
Yeah, but I don't think a ton of people were like, where was he drafted? Calvin Ridley.
5th round, 6th round. He was drafted as a flex.
He was drafted as a flex. I don't think that's. You just said he was a wide receiver too, and I agree with you. So I think he was a little bit undervalued.
Yeah, that's why I have him going a little bit up.
On the side.
A little
I didn't know
bit
we were getting this specific, guys. Everybody watching. Look, I think this guy is due. Definitely, I think a lot of people are going to be locking down Julio Jones, rightfully so, and I think it's going to leave him open. That's all I got to say about it.
I can't argue with that.
You know, I do like that. He had a fantastic week this week. I went with the slanted downward arrow because
Slanted downward.
I think he'll produce, but I don't think he's going to produce at a high enough level to be maybe even a WR2 option.
Okay.
All right, so I am up. I got Josh Jacobs. So, Jacobs put up 35 points this week. Okay. And I have a very strong belief on this. I want to hear what you boys think about it. Because I got a major down arrow. Mike? Mike
I
is-
have 12 down arrows.
Will, what you got for us?
Just
Will
a
is-
single down arrow.
is in agreement.
Keeping it simple.
Look, the first point I want to bring up, they played the Panthers. And I think that's you gotta realize and you gotta recognize it's the same thing with the Patriots. Take it with a grain of salt. Josh Jacobs' fantasy points, take it with a grain of salt. It's a heavy and loaded backfield. They brought in a lot of different guys. Okay? It's also a pretty hard act to top. Lastly, he's very TD reliant.
He had 3 touchdowns, didn't even go over 100 yards.
Right.
Didn't catch a whole lot of balls. They signed back Jalen Richard, who is their pass catcher.
He's playing almost like a fullback should play.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, they signed back Jalen Richard, signed back DeAndre Washington, drafted a running back in the 3rd round. I feel like a broken record. I feel like I've said this 100 times.
You have. But you know what? It's also true. You know what I mean? And one of the just strictly
They also
for-
don't have a good offensive line.
Not
Like, he's not going to
fantastic.
be able to go, but he's not Christian McCaffrey who
Right.
can just do with whatever.
And strictly just for next week.
And sorry to cut
You're
you
fine.
off. Like, another thing about McCaffrey is he can catch the ball. Jacobs can't.
A very important point. Just fantasy-wise, definitely. One thing just to mention, fantasy-wise, to say again, next week, they're playing the Saints.
They have a tough front 7.
That's not good. Who
And
racks up?
if we see the week 1 Saints carry over into week 2,
Who
Yeah.
racks up the 8th best in run defense? So
I mean, Ronald Jones is like a, highly acclaimed running back, but he couldn't get anything going against that defense. So we'll have to see what happens.
it's gonna be certainly interesting to watch. I think definitely this guy is gonna be trending down. And honestly, if you have this guy in your league, in my personal
Get
opinion,
rid of him. Get
he
rid of him.
has a high stock right now. People are going to look at that 35 and grab for points.
Yep.
I know a lot of people in our league
Yep.
who do that, okay? They're people,
Get rid of 'em.
They're people who maybe lost their first game and they're very like, oh, I got to make my team better. I got to make improvements. I got to make trades. I like to trade pretty conservatively. I'm not opposed to all trading. I know some people who are completely opposed.
I'm a very, very conservative trader.
I
Not
trade
big on trades at all.
For example, this guy loves trading. I don't love it as much as he does, but if I see a good trade or I
think-
see a good opportunity, I'll do it.
I think in the second half of the Tampa Bay game, I think Brady threw a second pick, and I think during the return, I was texting Will, "What's the price for Lamar Jackson?
Who do you want? Yeah,
because
it's crazy. So I think if you're in this situation and you have Jacobs and he did really good, get rid of him.
Yeah, sell high.
Sell very high.
Yep.
Get a nice running back. Something like Eckler. You know what I mean? I really think Eckler is going to produce super
Yeah, I love
super
Eckler.
well. And somebody who maybe, well, what are you looking at me like that for?
I will talk about him later.
Oh, okay. Someone who maybe has like a little bit of like a lower stock than Jacobs might. So like they'll probably say yes to the trade just because like Eckler's a lower guy than Jacobs.
You might
was
have
on
to
the
throw in
draft
like
board.
another piece, but just like a borderline bench player. Nothing really more than that.
And I think Eckler and Michael agrees that we think he's going to do really, really good this year.
Yeah.
My second guy is
Oh, I gotta erase all of this. Hold on.
all of the arrows that he wrote. My second guy is Devontae Adams. So I'm going to kind of join you guys with the sideways arrows.
Oh, hold on. You gotta give me a second.
Wow. Just cleaning off his Josh Jacobs massacre.
Devontae Adams.
I got the sideways up arrow. He's not going to produce. He produced 43 points against the Vikings. 156 yards. What's he got?
I got an up arrow.
Up arrow. 156 yards for 2 touchdowns. Devontae Adams certainly did not disappoint.
Also got an up arrow over here. Continuing the trend with Aaron Rodgers. Loving Aaron Rodgers this year.
You just love the Packers this year,
I
I
am loving
guess.
the Packers this year, but just because of Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's notable to say that in their next 5 games, 4 of them have bottom half secondaries. 4 out of the 5 have bottom half secondaries besides the Saints.
So, like bad secondaries or good
Bad
secondaries?
secondaries.
Oh,
They
that's,
have bottom
like
half
bottom half of the
secondaries.
league,
so he's gonna tear it up.
I think he is. I just don't think he's going to produce 43
No,
points.
no,
It's all right.
That,
And
that's
that's
the
why
whole
I'm
thing.
putting the sideways arrow.
But look, that's the whole
My
thing.
my upward arrow implies that he's going to play well, but not 40
Exactly,
points a week.
can't
exactly.
expect
which
That,
is
that's
unheard
why
of.
I have an
Exactly.
upward arrow too. Look,
I got the
he's
mostly
the number one
upward
option.
arrow.
He's the number one option. Rodgers, as much as I hate him, he's still he's a good quarterback.
solid.
I mean, he's probably top 10 in the NFL. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I think he's gonna be able to get it to Adams. Honestly, I think he's gonna finish as the number 1 receiver in the league this year. I don't think that Thomas is going to be able to. He has a high ankle sprain right now. 4 points is going to hurt him in the totals come
All right.
end of the season.
Number 1 receiver in the league.
Who else?
I'm still liking D-Hop.
Yeah, but
I was
here's the
worried
question I'll
about
ask
the
you.
trade, like integration with the Cardinals.
Here's the question
He
I'll
beat
ask
the
you.
Niners.
He still put up
Crazy.
30. He still put up 31 on, I believe, a 16-point
So many
projection.
targets.
Here's the
too.
question I'll ask you though, and I will agree with Kenyon Drake and Aaron Jones comparable, right? Larry Fitzgerald and whoever the Packers second
Larry
is, Alan
Fitzgerald.
Lazard,
You beat me to it. I was just going to say it.
very comparable, right? Or maybe even you put in like Devin Funchess, comparable guys, right?
Never count out Larry Fitzgerald.
Kyler
see.
Murray though, and Aaron Rodgers. I would take Rodgers all day. I think Hopkins is going to be top 3. I agree with you on that. I just don't think it's going to be 1. I just take the quarterback in that situation. That's why I think Michael Thomas was so good, is because he had Drew Brees to throw him the ball, and because he was the only guy there.
Even with a bad quarterback, he put up 31.
I
So
don't
I'm
think
saying
Kyler Murray's a bad
he's a better
quarterback.
wide receiver because he has a worse quarterback.
I just think Devontae Adams can keep it up because he has a better quarterback. I don't think
Yeah,
Hopkins
I mean,
can because Kyler Murray just isn't as good. That's the only thing. So,
I am a skeptic on Kyler Murray.
It's pretty skeptical.
It's a tough situation.
look,
I'm not a
he
big
went
Kyler Murray
into
fan.
San Fran, obviously no fans, but he went in there and beat him. So, he's
And
obviously
that's what's
pretty good.
important, you know? Mike,
Uh,
take it away. You're too
So,
fancy,
my
guys.
first of 2, I've got Cam Newton.
Newton.
Cam Newton put up
Love
25
it.
points
25
last week.
points.
Love that pick.
I got a bit of an interesting arrow.
I got him going up.
I got 2 arrows going in the side. We're really messing around with the arrow placement. Okay.
Will's got all 4
He's got-
arrows.
An arrow
Will-
except week 2.
He's got a little star. He's got a
Okay.
little, except week 2. I got 2 arrows going this way. I think he's gonna stay pretty neutral to where he is. I
Yeah,
think
I
you're
Well,
looking.
look, 25 is a lot though.
I think you're looking at 20, 21, 22 points.
Well, that's pretty
every
close to
single game.
where he is right now. Wouldn't you say it's an up arrow?
But the up arrow means he's gonna exceed that. He's gonna continue doing better than that.
I think he'll stay right around 25. Whether it's 24, 25, 26,
Yeah.
I think he's going to stay around there. Look,
He's not gonna
if,
get
if
worse.
he
Yeah.
if he starts to throw better than he has, I believe he'll
I'm
He'll
going to
be
put
a-
it this way.
he'll
He
be back to
is-
super Cam.
Yeah, he is the poor man's Lamar Jackson. That's the best way I can put it.
He
Yeah.
shouldn't be. He's bigger, stronger. It's weird.
Yeah,
But
Lamar.
fantasy-wise, he is the poor man's Lamar
Right.
Jackson. He is a great threat, in my opinion. I think that
Can't argue.
when he's healthy, he is great for fantasy. He doesn't have the weapons that you might hope.
And like my arrows imply, he's reliable. You know what I mean? He's
Newton
gonna
is reliable.
pretty consistently get
Yeah, I think
those
so.
types of
I think
points.
so.
You know
I
what
think
I
he
mean?
will.
I don't see him just tanking 1 week. I don't
Yeah,
see
no.
him getting 40 points
I
1
see
week.
him being a consistent player.
He's gonna be just that consistent guy that's gonna
I
get
think
you
so.
those types.
And
of
I never thought I would, associate consistency with Cam Newton. But
I just got one thing before you go. I'd like to compare it to the Isaiah Thomas days with the Celtics.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kind of a rebuild year. We got this one guy who you don't really know how he's gonna perform.
Yeah.
But he's gonna perform well, and he's your one guy. Maybe you make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not
or
a
you
Super
go
Bowl,
to the
not a
Eastern
Super Bowl
Conference
team. Maybe you make the
Finals.
playoffs. You have a good.
Yeah. No, I
Nice little
like
run.
that.
I
I
remember
like
that,
that.
Thomas.
All right. So my second guy, I
Finish it
got
off.
Austin Eckler.
Eckler.
Austin Eckler put up 9 points last week. I got 2 big arrows down.
Wow. Mike, you were high on this guy. I got
I
an
was.
arrow up.
I was, and I thought about it, and I thought week 1's gonna decide a lot for me because it's gonna tell me their quarterback situation. So last year, no, I just want to compare the 2 quarterbacks. So right now, their starting quarterback is Tyrod Taylor, right? Who would you say is more mobile, Tyrod Taylor or Phillip Rivers?
Philip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers. Pretty simple, right? When Tyrod Taylor is under pressure, he scrambles out of the pocket and he tries to make a play downfield.
Right.
When Phillip Rivers is in trouble,
He can't really. He's like Tom Brady.
he'll
Can't run.
check it down into the running back. That's how Austin Eckler got so many points last year. Is just those check down plays. That's why he was such a good, receiving threat.
That's not the way Tyler Taylor
Tyrod
plays
Taylor
football.
doesn't do that. Tyrod Taylor is on pace to throw 37 checkdowns for running backs. Phillip Rivers threw 51 last year. It's already
It's
an
night and
increase
day.
from there. That's
I see
already
what you're saying.
14, chances where Austin Eckler can be a good
Mike,
running back.
I gotta. You've convinced me.
About that.
You've convinced me, actually. You know what? And kind of Mike, very convincing. One of the things that also kind of swung me. I'm looking at this schedule. They got Chiefs, Panthers, Bucks,
Who have the best
Saints.
run defense.
That's a tough run.
And I'm not even going
How
on
many,
the
how many
matchups.
points did you say you put up? 9.
9.
And
Nine?
if they're really, and if
I'm sticking with the.
the straight
Yeah.
line, and if we're looking at this, are they really going to be running the ball when they're probably going to be down?
Yeah,
I
look
can't
less
see him.
at.
I can't see him scoring less than 9, even with
Yeah,
those
oh,
tough
absolutely.
defenses.
So if
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor isn't throwing checkdowns and he's yawing them down the field, and they're probably going to be down, what good is Austin Eckler?
Another thing I saw, and that kind of concerned me just watching the game, is I saw Joshua Kelly and Justin Jackson in the game a lot. A lot of times where I'm like, why isn't Austin Eckler in the game? Like,
You'd look and be like, yes, it's Eckler, and then it's just not.
yeah,
Right.
and it kind of like there were some like red zone touches where it was guys other than number 30, Austin Eckler again. I'm like, why? Like I just didn't understand that. So, it's something to consider. It's something to be nervous about.
All right, to wrap this podcast up, we're going to be talking about I'm going to say, because I don't know how you guys feel, the questionable performance by Tom Brady on the Buccaneers. Will, I want to toss it to you.
All right. Questionable is definitely the word. No decisions can be made yet. None at all. Definitely.
I think some can.
No, I don't think some. I don't think 1 week versus the Saints is gonna really show you the real Tom. Would have liked to see a better production. I am gonna say that his age is gonna start to get to him this season.
23 of 36, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2
23,
interceptions.
36?
23 for 36.
Oh, all right. What worries me is the 2 interceptions.
2 interceptions.
Couple years ago, he had 2 interceptions the entire season.
And one of those touchdowns was a garbage time touchdown. The first question, did Tom Brady get better or worse?
I'm definitely gonna go with worse.
Because I watched it and I think he got worse. I really, really did. Mike, how do we feel?
All right, I think it's unfair just to say straight worse. He's aging.
He didn't
He's
get
on
better.
a new team.
Right.
He definitely did not get better. I'll give you that. But
guys-
he's got weapons now.
Oh, Mike's got something
You
to
guys
say.
are looking way too much into just the game. Looking way too much into it.
Inform us, please.
Do you know how long 20 years is? Like, do you know
Especially to
how
play-
long that is?
Play football.
We've been alive for 17, almost 18. 17 years.
He's been
okay?
balling since before we were born.
He has been doing the
He
same
won a Super Bowl
playbook,
before we were born.
the same playbook, to the same wide receiver for like 8
through
years.
the same system.
Same tight end for 9 years.
Right.
Had basically the same offensive line. I mean, obviously players
No
speaking of now,
preseason
but
also
still a
just
solid
training camp.
offensive line forever. Had the same head coach for 20 years, same stadium for 20 years, and now he gets thrown into a new stadium in the middle of a pandemic
Completely
with
new vibe.
completely
He's got
new weapons, new vibe, new culture, new offensive
Wouldn't new
coordinator.
weapons help him?
You'd think.
You would think.
New coach.
Yes.
New weapons
And
would
he
help.
puts up 2 touchdowns, 200 yards
One
23
touchdown.
for
I don't
Barrett.
consider the other one a touchdown. It was such a garbage
against
touchdown.
against the Saints. Okay?
You don't think the Saints kind of...
This team did not play well. It didn't. I'm not going to beat around the bush. The Buccaneers didn't play well. Okay?
Not as good as they should have.
Right.
Brady looked out of sorts, and he just couldn't get the right timing on receivers. It wasn't Brady was making bad passes.
Do you think that
Honestly,
comes with
some
time?
of them.
Do you think that comes with time?
Yes,
That kind of
it
proves
absolutely
it.
will. I think by week 4, Brady, or by week 4 or 5, maybe even 6, Brady will have it figured out. Brady will be on time
Also,
with
also
Evans,
just to
Godwin.
add, Tom Brady started 0-1 4 times previously in his career. 3 out of those 4 times, they made it to the Super Bowl.
Probably my favorite stat I've ever heard.
It's
Super
a
That's
good
it.
ad.
Yeah.
It is.
Like,
Don't-
look,
don't-
look, I'm
don't-
not saying he's going to
but
make
just like-
By no means count him out, but
Yeah.
he's not going to be better
But
than he was
just
on the
like
Patriots
Michael
this year.
said, he was on the Patriots. It's different.
You
Can
also
you
have to
really
remember-
use a stat like that when he's not in the Patriots anymore?
You could be thinking to yourself, oh, well, he has Gronk, right? Well, Gronk had 2 catches for 11 yards. And it
Me-
took him about 9 seconds to turn around
Me and
after
Michael,
making a
just
catch.
a little side note. Me and Michael were watching that game. Brady threw the ball to Gronk. He caught it. The slowest turnaround.
Oh my God. We
I
both
have-
went,
We
"Oh
both
my
laughed. We were
God."
like, "This guy does
He
not
does
belong
not belong
in
in the
pads."
field. He,
It
and I
was
don't think
He
bad.
doesn't belong in the. He belongs in Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa suits him.
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Evans had 1 catch because he was injured. He had 1 catch. The defense played pretty well. I mean, look, I don't think that the 34 points that they gave up really speaks to how good the defense played.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna.
Because you
Yeah.
need to remember, 7 of those points were because of a pick 6 from Brady, and he gave up another interception that put them in good field position. But Breeze only threw for 160 yards. Drew Brees, the guy who's like Mr. 300
He was my
every
fantasy
game.
quarterback. Very
Yeah.
disappointing.
And they had Kamara and Latavius Murray had 2.4 yards per carry,
Kamara had a good week though.
touchdown wise. I mean, those saved him. He had like
a good,
60
okay, a
yards
good
total.
fantasy week, which
Yeah,
is
good, great fantasy. I think he put up like 25 or something.
One of the other
24.
things
one
that
of, like my highest scorer.
Yeah.
One of the other things I think is worth mentioning, where do you get the training wheels on the Bucks? They are playing the Broncos, a winnable game, Chargers, and Bears.
They get the Panthers next week, I think, don't they?
Panthers. I'm sorry, I forgot to say the Panthers. We're gonna put the training wheels on the Bucks. We're gonna give them hopefully 4 wins. Okay, and then we're gonna take off the training wheels, and we're gonna see how they do.
See how it
Do you guys see them losing any games in that 4-game
No.
stretch? Bucks, not Bucks.
Not in that 4 stretch.
Look, no, I
absolutely
can't say
Panthers, Broncos, Chargers,
no.
Bears.
They could. Look, if they play like they
not. Right,
did,
if we're talking about chances, but like, they're not. They're probably not gonna.
I see them.
I think they could drop it to the Bears.
No,
Absolutely
the
not to
Bears.
Mitchell
the Bears.
Trubisky.
Yeah.
I
I'm a
think it's
Mitchell
just gonna be like a
Trubisky and
random
Bears
fluke
hater. They
game.
blow every game they play.
They do. Didn't
Yeah.
they win last week?
No,
though?
they'll win all 4. I think they win all 4.
They win all 4?
Those are pretty bad teams. Guys, 20 years with the same coach, same playbook, same everything, and you throw them into a new system, new coach, new playbook, new this, new that. I think it's so naive and just not realistic to expect him to be able to pick it up in a shortened off season with no preseason, barely any training camp, and no
Shortened
OTAs.
I'm gonna call him a work in progress. Training wheels, absolutely need them.
So just final thoughts.
I'm gonna chalk it up to chemistry.
Chemistry.
Work in progress. Chalk it up to chemistry. Mostly timing issues.
Look, I
Big
can't.
chemistry
I
problem.
can't disagree. Just to
New
wrap
coach,
up,
new life, new state.
can't disagree with any
New
of that.
taxes.
To wrap,
No
just to wrap up, it's training wheels are on right now.
And
They got 4 games.
Saints were a tough team.
You gotta keep in mind, obviously, take it with a grain of salt.
Please don't sleep on Leonard Fournette also. Put in that little
Sleeping.
tidbit.
Big
We
time
talked
sleeper.
last
Stop.
podcast.
Why?
We talked last podcast. We agreed.
He had like the 4th most yards for running backs in the NFL last year.
Yeah, on the Jaguars when they needed him to. That's very important.
Look, he's probably
He
not even gonna have
was
top
that
10.
offense.
I'm just saying, once he knows the playbook and knows the plays that they're gonna run and knows the
I
offensive
still
line
don't
and
think
stuff,
he finishes top 10.
and he doesn't have to be the focal point of the offense, so defenses aren't just gonna stack the box on him every single play. He's gonna be a great running back for them. And if you're Tom Brady and you know that you can hand it off to a workhorse running back, I think that kind of gives you a little bit of a safety blanket for him.
Rojo looked
Don't you
good.
think? No, he didn't.
You know what?
He
I
did
think
not.
looked fine.
Every play, oh god,
You changed-
every play it was kind of like, oh, why are you giving it to him?
Right, you know what? You've changed my mind on Fournette.
What?
I'm not giving up on Fournette.
Yeah,
What?
don't. Why would
Everybody's
you?
abandoning
I'm
my
not
thing.
giving
He
up on
almost made the
Fournette.
Pro. I think he might have either
Loaded
made the Pro Bowl or
offense.
should have made
His
the Pro Bowl
numbers
last year.
are spiked because the Jacksonville
He
needed
might
him
not
to play
even
good.
get 900 yards
It's
rushing.
all right. But
I'm just saying,
it's Ron Jones.
it's Leonard Fournette. When he's on the field, he's gonna make a difference.
And sometimes when he's on the field, he's ridiculously inconsistent. Ridiculously. When? Dude,
In
Leonard
the Jaguars
Fournette.
uniform,
Dude, why does that change?
in Jacksonville,
Tell me why that changes. Inconsistency.
name one of the players besides DJ Chark that the Jaguars have. The defense is like, oh yeah, he's gonna have a good game,
You're completely
and not
right.
even DJ
You're
Chark.
completely right. I completely do.
So when you're a defense and you look at the Jaguars, you're like, okay, let's look at the depth chart. Leonard Fournette and no one else. We're gonna put 20 guys in the box to
and
stop him every
sometimes,
time.
and sometimes,
when you were a defense now, who do you have to cover?
sometimes he still did good. I'm saying that there was a little bit of inconsistency, not because of the Jaguars, just because sometimes he played inconsistent.
Because defenses could game plan for him.
That's
now
what-
they can't.
So that's what you're chalking up to be?
Yeah.
And you're saying that the defenses can't game plan because there's so many weapons on the team?
Yeah.
On the Bucks.
Godwin, Mike Evans. I'm just gonna throw him in there. Gronk, OJ Howard,
Okay, I wouldn't.
and then you have Fournette. He's probably gonna be the third or fourth option on this team. Where in
Fournette-
Jacksonville, he was the number one option.
Fournette will not be utilized, and he will not be. I'm gonna put it out there now because this kid's a wacko.
Hot
he
take.
will not.
Hot take.
He will not be a top 10 running back.
No, he won't.
may have it.
I'm sorry. I'm
No.
sorry. I thought you
Dude,
said
I
he would.
literally just said he might not even get 1,000 rushing yards. I'm just saying when because they also have LaShawn McCoy, Ronald Jones, Keyshawn. They have all the running backs in that system. I just think that he's going to get the majority of the snaps, and when he's on the field, he's going to make a big difference and add another weapon to this dynamic offense. I think that's pretty fair to say. He is a
Of
fantastic
course he adds
running back,
another weapon.
probably top 5 in the NFL. He can catch the ball.
It's fair. It's fair. So, just to wrap up the whole Brady thing, like Will said, it's pretty. I completely agree with him. Training wheels, work in progress. I'm a little lower on Brady than I think Will is. He's old. I think obviously he's past his prime, and I don't see him recovering.
No,
from
he's
that.
just hitting his prime.
Oh yeah, there he is. Michael, final thoughts.
42 hitting his prime.
Yeah. Look, I for Brady, I think that it's the Saints. I said it before and I'll say it again. It's a new offense, it's a new system, new coach, new coordinator, new playbook. It's all new things you got to learn. I think he's going to be better this year. I think that Tampa Bay, for me, is going to win the Super Bowl.
Whoa! Tampa Bay's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Tampa Bay.
I
winning
think
the
so.
Super Bowl.
I think that too good of receivers, and the defense proved something to me yesterday.
If they're able to put it together.
The
'cause
defense
even
stopped Drew
Tom
Brees to under
Brady does-
200 yards.
Tom Brady does.
Wow.
Tom Brady does have like the blocks with his guys. He
Yeah.
didn't mix with N'Keal Harry. Kind of too young for him.
If
different
this
style.
offensive line can just give Brady
if they gel right with Brady.
they can give Brady time. Tampa Bay is a serious Super Bowl contender.
I think that's strong. I completely disagree. I
Okay.
think that is too strong.
Will, could you just one more time? Just tell me that stat one more time about.
that's
Brady
a
started
that's a
out
little
0-1?
bit of a that's a little.
Just one more
he
time.
started
That's a
0
fluffy
0
stat.
Okay, first of all, he's only started 0-1 4 other times. 4. I think that's kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Out of those 4 times, he's made it to the Super Bowl 3 of them.
On the New England Patriots, and that's a very fluffy stat. It is.
Okay.
It's a little fluff to it.
Okay.
But Mike, I appreciate. I respect your opinion. I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to do fine. I just don't see them as Super Bowl contenders.
Look, when they finish 8-8 at the end of the year, then you can laugh at me.
There you go.
Can we agree that we'll make the playoffs?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think they'll make the
They
playoffs.
will.
Definitely.
They will. They'll be a high seed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that wraps up this episode of the 401 podcast.
Michael Quattromani signing off.
Will Casey signing off.
And I'm Pat Daly signing off. This is the 401 podcast. And we'll see you next time.
Let's go!